rewarding failure and the learnings from it. Not only successes, yes, success also important to celebrate, but actually failures is what we learn most from. My last role, I was a chief marketing officer for marketing in Western Europe. So I was accountable for driving marketing across the region. And as part of that, leading multiple transformation changes within the organization. Previously to that, had various technical roles at Microsoft as well, global, regional, local roles. So had experience from technology to business development to transformation to marketing all over the place. Yeah, very good question. I think number one to understand is the change we're facing right now had actually very little to do with technology itself. Right? There's a lot of changes going on the culture change in terms of the generation Y, Z, and further generations. There's a transformation of the business models that are required from API economy to sharing economy, etc. And yes, of course, there's technology revolution as well. And so if you look at the fundamentals to actually succeed in that world, is number one is a culture of curiosity. So understanding, trial new things, don't be afraid about innovation, don't be afraid about looking outside of your own industry, because this is where a lot of innovation actually coming. Then secondly, failing, but failing fast, and taking the learnings and be your biggest competitor, because you need to invent yourself every time and rethinking your business model. And that's kind of clearly at the root of the culture transformation that is required to be successful in the future. So one important element to understand is so-called disruptors are coming quite frequently from outside of your industry. So if you look at industries that have been disrupted, like transportation, hospitality, etc., if you look at those companies that actually came in and disrupted the whole business model, quite frequently came from a complete different industry, either technology, startup, but actually not from what was known as the traditional industry. And so number one that is crucial for companies to work on is actually challenging constantly the status quo. Is look also outside of your industry, be inspired by things that might happen outside of your industry, and looking what could be the implication, what could be opportunities that are coming from that. And last but not least, and certainly at the center, is having the customer experience mindset. Customers are not buying transactions anymore. You can compare that actually very much with the Maslow pyramid. And if you look at what the customers are buying with experiences, then you need to challenge the status quo. What is the purchase experience? What is your product experience, etc., and putting the customer at the center, and through that, developing a business model further for the new age. Number one is certainly making sure you're not doing micromanagement, because you're hiring talent, and talent actually here to foster and to bring the company forward. And so a critical element of not doing micromanagement, but actually managing our objectives and element is a critical element. Secondly is rewarding failure and the learnings from it. Not only successes, yes, success also important to celebrate, but actually failures is what we learn most from. And so it is important as part of curiosity, innovation, etc., to learn making failures, mistakes, learning from it, taking the evolution from it, bringing it forward, and from that developing something new. It is very much like innovating. You are not walking on a paved road, right? Otherwise it would be not innovation. And so falling is part of the journey, but then standing up and walking is actually an important element. I think number one is inspiration. What we've seen, or what I've seen over the past few years through following and supporting our customers, is because you're so closed mindset in your own industry, thinking the new elements or thinking about new opportunities is quite frequently the most challenging aspect. And so inspiration is certainly the key element I'd like the audience to take away from it. And from that, going open mindset, being able to look outside of the industry and taking your next step.